Wow, I dug a hole. And this is my VONKAT 10.5. This is a really good mid-range coil shock. I wanted to get the EXT Arma. I couldn't get it, it wasn't available. So I got this one instead. Now to put this thing on, I'll take my ratchet wrench and this hex. Get the shock to just drop out. Easy peasy, there it is. I need to grease these bolts. That's important, actually. This isn't coming off. I'll just grease up the main body of the bolt. Then I'll do the same for the lower. Just get the bolts in, because I'll be putting some Loctite on the thread part. There we go. Want that bolt coming off. And as usual, we will torque those later on. First, I'll get everything assembled. That's it, rear shock's done. Now look at these things. Look at these monsters. I can't wait to take this thing off-road with these wheels. These are nice as hell. So I got 16-inch for the back and 19-inch up front. I didn't want to get full-size moto wheels like I have on that 1821 setup, because that's a full-size electric dirt bike that's coming up pretty soon. So since this bike is a little bit smaller than that, I figured a 16 by 19 setup would probably be perfect for a small bike like this. So what I'll do is I'll take this rear wheel off, take off the rotor, take off the sprocket, and put it on that rear wheel, and then put the rear wheel back on the bike. I need to loosen up this brake caliper. Get it out of my way. Gotta be careful, man. A lot of these bolts are stripped. It's like somebody put all these on with an air wrench and didn't have the torque setting set right. So they're all over torqued. Like the inside of the bolts are all just tiny bit stripped. So like if you use the wrong tool and maybe too much force, very easy to strip those bolts, I think. Just a heads up. They got a madman at the factory with an air gun assembling these. All right, now let's drop the rear wheel. Now, oh my God, was that tight? I cannot believe how tight that axle was. That was stupid, man. And here's the new one. Check it out, bro. Look at the difference. This thing's a digger. All right, let's switch these sprockets and rotors. These bolts were really hard to get off. You know, on these e-bikes, when the bolt's really hard to get off, instead of risking stripping it, just hit it with a torch for a little bit and heat it up. And then usually they will pop right off. All right. Now I'm gonna give them about 12 Nm of torque. Now I gotta take the sprocket off. And that's a much bigger bolt. Maybe it's better if I do it like that. Wow. That sounds not right. These are the tightest bolts, man, ever. I definitely don't need to go to the gym today. All right. All right, now I'm gonna torque them. About 25 Nm is what I use on my Suron, and I think that'll be okay for this one too. Just remember to torque it. It's the most important thing. All right, wheel's done. And don't forget to put these axle spacers back in there. I was worried about this wheel. It's huge. Wow. Don't forget the chain. It's really, really close, but there's a big offset on this wheel. So I think it's gonna be all right. So I'm gonna torque the axle down to about 55. That's what I use on the Sur-Ron. So pretty sure this is the same. It's very similar axle. Rear wheel's done, man. Man, this rear wheel is sick. Oh my God, look at it. I'll torque that later. Just want to make sure that there's no rubbing. Okay, we're good. Just reattaching the brake line. Front fork, 42 millimeter stanchions. This thing is heavy, it's beefy. And we're gonna mount this on the bike. All right, I'll just leave that there. So I test fitted the fork and I need to cut a little bit off the stem for everything to fit, and I'm gonna reuse the stock needle bearings. I managed to get them off the E-Ride Pro. And yeah, the fork is a good fit. It fits almost perfect up here because it comes with a little bit of a drop crown stock. So I'm gonna get this stem cut and then I can get these forks on the bike. Then just need to get the front wheel on and the thing's done, man. I don't want that metal powder getting down in the grease around the bearings. Could make them wear out prematurely. Now I'll just use my reamer on the end to clean this edge. I can't wait to put these on, man. I'm just gonna slather it on. Get it nice and greasy. I think that's good. Okay, this thing's mounted, man. Now, just mount my direct stem here. The red spacers look sweet, right? And see, now the direct stem fits. The direct stem didn't fit on that E-Ride Pro top crown, remember? Yeah. When I put it on, didn't really line up, but see how it lines up perfect on this BOS? We know why. Oh, I'll go back and torque these a little bit later. Now that this whole thing is squeezed tight, and where's my other torque wrench? That's 7. Now I'm just gonna grease these up and put on these boost spacers. Yeah, they're good. Now let's just set this aside for now. We need to deal with this thing. These are torques. Do you see how it's a star? The other one is a hex. I'm always paranoid that I want to strip a rotor bolt because I've done it before. All right, I'm gonna torque these to about 10 Nm. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough. 10 to 12. But on the rear, I use 12, but on the fronts, I think I'll just use 10. If you crank the rotor bolts too tight, you can actually get vibrations and weird noises when you're braking. And that's just because the torque is off on the bolt. I've actually seen that. Make sure they're all good to go. All right. Now I need to grease this axle before I put it on. Is to bolt the rotor. Oh no. It needs a spacer. I don't have that spacer. So now I just need to torque these axle pinch bolts and put the front brake caliper on and everything will be done. Now I had to change back to a 203 millimeter rotor in the front because the BOS fork didn't come with a spacer for a 220 millimeter rotor. So I ordered that today. And when that comes, I'll throw the 220 rotor back on the bike. I mean, just need to install this brake caliper and the thing is done. All right, now let's spin it. Let's charge this thing up for a bit. Now's a good time to put the new pricklies on. I ordered some new foot pegs from Prickly. I also got the new foot peg brackets from Prickly. So it's like a set. And I got the wide foot pegs just to try them out because they looked super interesting. And let's see what's in the box. Nice packaging, huh? So we got all the spring stuff, the pins, the bolts, and then we have the brackets. Let's see. Yep, just like that. And these actually have a mount for the kickstand on them, which is nice if I ever want to use that, but probably not gonna. And then it comes with this nice brace. So that will assemble something like this underneath the bike. And then the brackets go on. But that's really nice. Let's see what's in here. Oh, I guess this is the pegs. Oh, man. Look at these pegs. Wow. Those are wide. That's my color. Yeah, man. That looks sick. Oh, those are going to look so nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, let's get these off, man. Originally, I put these Warp 9 pegs on with the stock plates, but I was just waiting for these to get done. I had custom ordered these. Now that they're here, I want to put them on. Start putting this foot peg brace assembly together by just installing those two bolts right there. And you have to have a hex with a really short head on it, or else you won't be able to get these tightened. These are the kind of bolts that will definitely come loose on the bike over time. So this is the kind of thing that you for sure want to use Loctite on. All right, that's good. I got it as tight as possible and with the Loctite. This retaining clip. Let's do this side. Drop this washer in right here. And let's just pop this clip in. There we go. Yeah. So there they are. Those pricklies are gonna look so nice, right? I'll use the bolts that came with the pricklies because they're black. Oh, what a difference. They look great. Get them nice and tight. that's it. The pricklies are done. Oh man, it looks so good. I really like those wide pegs. I think they're gonna give me more stability on manuals. What do you think?
Sick.
Looks sick. Oh, those feel great. Well, now we just need to wait for this thing to get done charging. Then we're gonna take it out for the first ride today. I cannot wait to ride it. So one thing I noticed right away, once I got the controller fully programmed, is that the wheel was spinning in the opposite direction. And that's an easy fix with electric motors. They can spin both ways. As long as you have software to access that, you can change it. So let's go into the app and I can show you how to do that. You just go into the motor direction and let's change it to anti-clockwise and save. Save successfully, and let's just check it to make sure. Yeah, since now the direction is correct. Finally, the bike's completely done. I cannot wait to take this thing out and ride it. This is going to be the very first official ride. You can see the rubber on these knobbies is still brand new. And wow, I don't know. I think this thing's going to attract a lot of attention from cops, dude. I'm a bit worried. This doesn't really look like the street bikes. Anyways, I can tell right away the suspension is perfect. It was a bit sloppy before. Now it's, oh, that's nice. Now, I wish I could have put the Lewis brakes on, but I couldn't because I had to put the Sur-Ron 203 millimeter front rotor on this bike because the 220 wouldn't fit on the BOS fork without a PM adapter plus 20. So I got those on order, and maybe next week I'll put the brakes on. In the back, there's no problem because the stock E-Ride Pro bracket is set up for a 220 rotor, but this BOS fork is not. These brakes will be good enough for the first few rides. Can make sure all the controller settings are good. The suspension settings are good. I did the compression, the rebound, the sag. I set everything, and I think it's okay. I set it to my body weight. So let's go ride this thing. Let's hope she still works. Yep. Everything's good, everything good. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's hit it, man. A little bit windy today. Thinking to put a jump track in here. We just need to get some shovels or maybe some tools. And I always check, there's never anybody here. Just wild packs of dogs sometimes come through here and snails. That's it. And this is definitely long enough. to put some nice jumps in here. You can just rhythm through here back and forth. One right there, then one just to the left of that second column, and then another one on the third column, and then on the opposite side coming back this way. Just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 1, 2. I think it would be so much fun. And nobody would mess with us over here. Just the MRTs running back and forth here. This thing hole shots like crazy. Oh yeah, this is gonna be sick once I get these jumps here, man. This is gonna be a lot of work though. It'd be nice to do it once it cools off a bit. Wow, I dug a hole. The only thing left to do on this bike is I have some Lewis Tech EP6 6-pot caliber brakes, and I cannot wait to put those on. I have the 220 millimeter rotors, and these brakes were fine today just to test out the controller. I love the suspension. Even I'm surprised because this is the 450 pound spring, but I actually ordered a 525 pound spring, but they screwed up and sent me the wrong one. I threw this one on anyways just to see how it was. And it's actually really good. I think this VONKAT shock is doing most of the work now. The compression is really nice. And it just feels right. Not even close to maxing this thing out. So yeah, the bike looks sick. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.